Hey guys, Mac here. So I've been thinking about this for the last day or two in terms of offense or defense, attitude, mindset. So we all know life is all about an attitude, having the right mindset, making sure that we don't sometimes take things for granted for what we have. And I am part of many meetup groups, networking groups. I get a chance to shake hands with many people, get a chance to have a cup of coffee with them. And I pretty much find that we all go through some kind of journey in terms of, and that journey typically falls into like two categories. Number one is offense, and the second one is defense. And what I mean by defense is basically that sometimes the circumstances may not be conducive enough for you to kind of take the next step. Or it could be that sometimes you are letting other people drive your journey to some degree. Or it could be just self-imposed barriers that you have that is sort of prohibiting you to take that next step. So that's one part of the defense. The other part of the defense is that although this may not be the case in terms of let other people drive your opinions, expectations, self-imposed barriers, that may not be the case. But at the same time, I find these people are stuck because they are not able to move their needle in the right direction. That is where I come into the picture, right? And what I mean by that is in terms of improving their branding, raising their credibility on the Google, social media, making sure that they get the right sort of exposure, so that is where I come in terms of making sure that how to get them unstuck from being stuck. So that's the part of the defense. And the other part, right, which is the offense, I also come across a lot of people, business owners, a lot of successful people that we observe on social media who have amassed great deal of following in authentic manner. And we find that the reason they are able to do that is because they have delivered immense value. They are proactive, they are energetic, they know the price that someone has to pay to achieve certain thing, right? So the journey is not easy. There are going to be roadblocks. So having sheer excellence sometimes may not be good, sometimes may not cut it. Rather than that, I think what you need to have is basically perseverance, resilience, and that is how they have succeeded. So my other point that I'm thinking about is that when we find ourselves in terms of wherever we are right now, one ray of hope to take a look at, and that is what I take a look at, is basically I sometimes find that there are a lot of people who have gone ahead of me. They started perhaps maybe a couple of years back, a decade back, and I feel that maybe this is not the right time. Maybe I should have started like a decade back or so, right? But having said that, I also think that the very fact that somebody has succeeded, and for them also it is not like a bed of roses in many ways. So they have also gone through a lot of trials, tribulations, a lot of setbacks. So if there are certain people in your niche, your field, if they have succeeded, that means you can also succeed. So that's one of the rays of hope that I can think about, and that is how I kind of progress my journey to some degree as well. And the other point is that in terms of remaining stuck, we find that we sometimes feel that we are the only ones who have been dealt with the bad hands. And when you put yourself out there with these people, the stories that you hear on the internet, on social media, right, that allows you to broaden your perspective, that allows you to broaden your mindset, attitude. And I'm an Indian. I came from India a few years back, more than a decade back, 20 years back. And I have seen with my own eyes that life is not easy on the day-to-day basis. It is really difficult for average Indian to make it through on a day-to-day basis. Of course, now situation, the conditions are more conducive. They are changing for good. But I have seen with my own eyes, there are certain classes, there are certain sections of the people. They are either ignored, they are disenfranchised. I have also seen like kids, women walking like 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers just to get one bucket of water for their house. So the point is that we think that we are the only ones who have been dealt with the bad hands, and we are actually living in one of the greatest countries on the face of the earth, in America, and we don't have any excuse. If you really want to succeed, if you really put our mind, if you really put the pedal to the metal. And so those are a couple of thoughts in terms of offense or defense. Now they may be very well a legit strategy given the point of view where you might be in on, but unless and until you go on offense, you really cannot succeed. And that is what my journey has been all about. I have been I can relate to both this offensive and defensive aspects. For the most part, I was on the defense, and then I decided to take the bull by the horns and then do something out of that. And that is when I started seeing I was able to move my needle little by little. I'm nowhere close to where I want to be right now, but I'm making my progress. I'm making my progression to some degree. And so I hope I added some value out here. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.